Hi, everyone. Welcome to This One's Dedicated To. My name's Chris Barton.
And I'm Jennifer Ziegler, and we're here with our esteemed guest, Barb Rosenstock, who is here to talk about the dedication in her book, The Great Lakes, Our Freshwater Treasure, which was written by her and illustrated by Jamey Christoph. Welcome, Barb.
Thanks. It's so nice to be here with you guys.
We're happy to have you.
To start us off, could you read us the dedication in the Great Lakes?
Of course. Um, all right. It says, to the scientists and educators committed to protecting the Great Lakes.
All right. Are there specific scientists and educators that you had in mind when you wrote that dedication?
This is actually, if you look under that dedication, there we moved the acknowledgments in the book under the dedication on purpose because there is a list of 26 experts that worked on the book with me. My idea for this dedication was that I kind of think that experts like the scientists and a lot of times educators too in a specific area that nonfiction authors talk to when we do research really kind of get short shrifted. I mean, I'm lucky I get my name on the front of a book. Jamey did beautiful work on the illustrations. He gets his name on the front of the book, and people don't realize that a book is a team effort, like a huge team effort, sometimes hundreds of people, even for a picture book, which tends to be what I write. And I just really felt like this time, because the Great Lakes themselves are so huge. When I decided on the topic with my editor, Michelle Frey Knopf, I just was like overwhelmed. And I'm like, wait, where do you start on basically a third of the country? Like that's kind of like, wow, you bit off way more than you can chew. And the way I started was by doing reading, but that's not really all the research that it's kind of the reading part of research is never the most interesting part for me as an author. It tends to be the conversations that I have with experts. And so I decided that this one's dedicated to the experts that really made the book happen. Without them, there wouldn't have been more than 2 words. Like the Great Lakes, I could have handled on my own. Maybe the names of the lakes I could have handled on my own. Other than that, all the rest of it, came from conversation with other people. So
It's such a striking visual to see the dedication and then see the box with all 26, right? You said
yeah,
26.
I mean, I can hold it up if it's not going to be backwards. I mean, it's a big, long list here.
Mm.
And it's a list of everybody from a mom in the Chicago area, which is where I live, takes groups of 2nd and 3rd graders on beach cleanups as a volunteer project, to a couple of NOAA scientists, the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Association scientists, who are telling us what's going on with the weather and the water in the Great Lakes, part of our federal government, to a professor of Native American history and culture. There are people who trek the dunes on that list. There are people who sit in little offices crunching numbers on that list. There's a librarian on that list. It's just a big group of people without whom the book wouldn't exist. No matter, even if Jamey and I were at the very top of our game, there is no way the book exists without those people.
Is this a typical number of people that you would consult with on one of your nonfiction books?
I feel like you should ask the person next to you because he knows too. It was probably a little longer. The bigger the topic, the more the experts. I mean, I kind of think that that's a little bit how it goes. But 26 was a lot, but I wouldn't say it's completely unusual. The next book that I have coming out, probably if I made a list, probably it's certainly 20-ish. The book before, maybe more like 15. So yeah, it's usually certainly more than 5. Unless it's such a narrow topic that only like there's one person sitting in one office somewhere in the world who knows only about that one thing. But yeah, no, I think it's not unheard of for
Yeah.
me anyway.
And this is literally a big topic. So I can imagine.
Literally a big, big topic. 9 states, 2 countries. Yeah, big topic.
And when you first started writing nonfiction picture books, did you realize, or nonfiction, I should say, did you realize that you would need, or that it would lead you to this many interviews and
Oh no. No, why would I know what I was doing? No. I started like most people. I just ran into a topic. I wasn't a writer. I was in advertising for many years. I had some children that I used to read to. And then all of a sudden, one day I ran into an obituary of this lady named Louise Smith. And I didn't know that women had raced NASCAR. Like, I just didn't know in the 1940s that there were any women. Danica Patrick's like the first NASCAR type person in my head. And I realized there was this whole history of females in racing. And I just had to do something with the information. So I began reading, because that's kind of what I thought research was. And I really think in schools too, one of the things about this whole why I dedicated it to is when I talk about this Great Lakes books in schools, I say to kids that there's no reason that they can't talk to these experts too, right? Most experts, and this was true for my very first book, Fearless, which is the Louise Smith book, is as I read, I realized that some of the information seemed to be coming from some of the same sources. So eventually I sent a couple of emails to those direct sources and said, hey, Joe, Bill, whoever you are, what do you know more? Do you know any more about this woman, whatever? And then I started getting answers back. And then pretty soon you develop a relationship. And then those people usually guide you to other people who guide you to other people. And it's kind of like this chain of curiosity, or a chain of, chain of curiosity, and most of the things that experts, one of the things they love is that a lot of times they're really in love with what they do. I mean, that's why they're an expert, right? So when you call them or you email them and you say, wow, I don't know very much about Joe DiMaggio's bat. Can you please tell me? It's like you're like the greatest person they've ever spoken to that week, right? Because their whole life has been sitting in a little room with books about Joe DiMaggio's bat, and not that many people typically ask them about those narrow topics. So when they get it, they're like, sure. And you'll get like, just pages of information, long conversations about it. So it's, I love that chain of curiosity. I love it. And how many people connect, even sometimes from one book to the next. I'll, have the same expert kind of weigh in and say, okay, now that we know about that part of the ocean, who can you guide me to who might know about that part of the ocean? So it becomes a community of people who, really love true topics, love science, sometimes love art, and really love the fact that we're all doing this for children. They kind of see it. Most of the experts actually, almost, I would say 100%. I've actually never run into any expert that didn't say, wow, but these are going to be the kids who are the experts next time. It's a commitment that you made to giving kids accurate information, as accurate as you can. And we can't do it without those people. So they got the dedication.